Hello, I'm William Brougham and welcome to the panel shows Hear the Music live here at the Katcha Studios in Sydney. A very, very special show, and we are honoured to have two very talented guests. We've got Michael El Bashir, author and broadcaster, and 17-year-old. He's very young, but he's got his whole future ahead of him. It's Austin Bradley, a young musician and also community advocate. If I could speak with you first, can you tell us about your love of music?
I've loved music all my life. It's one of those things that you listen and you don't have to talk to people, and I don't like talking to people a lot of the time. But passion for music is just good to hear. It gets me in my own little world. I can focus on listening to things and I can concentrate more on work and like studying, but while listening to music, and it's just good. Yeah.
How did you get into music, and what do you play?
I don't know how I got into music. It's sort of just always been there. I play guitar, piano. I can fill in for drums and bass if I need to. I've been playing for about probably 3 or 4 years overall, and it's just been a good time.
I heard you before we went on camera playing a little bit of Queen. You weren't reading music, so do you play by ear or do you do both?
So on YouTube there's videos where the tiles fall down, and I just watch that until I get it right. I just play where they play. So I don't know how to read music for piano, but I can read notes for guitar.
Michael, now you're not a musician per se,
No.
but you are involved in music. Tell us.
Absolutely. I mean, where are we without music, really? Music's been a soundtrack of my life for so many years now. And I've just been so grateful and to be part of 2RRR Radio. So I'm actually the marketing director for 2RRR Radio. And I act as a platform for our local musicians, really, to come on to the show, which is Let's Get Local. I'm also a radio announcer. And give them that platform, because where would we be without music, and our local artist, which is community work, basically. So it's volunteer. So what I do is just work with my community, and just music is just it's always part of my life and part of everyone's life, I'm sure.
And of course, for viewers outside Sydney, 2RRR is a community radio station here in New South Wales, in Sydney. How long have you been involved in 2RRR?
I've been involved with 2RRR for a couple of years actually now, probably just over a year more so. I came in as first as a guest on 2RRR regarding my other work that I do, and become a guest presenter, now a presenter, now a marketing director. So, and it's all about the community, and I just love to have that platform for others to shine their light and their passions for music, for example.
Austin, you told us a little bit about your passion for music. Who were some of your inspirations?
First inspiration would be Metallica. I hear it and I just wanted to play it.
They're an amazing band. I've seen them live in London.
Well,
fantastic.
They're in Australia in October this year, and I'm going to get my tickets as soon as I can. But I listen to Metallica and I just want to be able to play what they play, so I did. I learned probably a year and a half just for Metallica purposes. Then AC/DC, rock legends, and
seen them as well. Seen them live.
Well, I haven't.
Best I've been to. Fantastic.
Well, mate, I'd love to see them. That's on the bucket list for sure. But Queen lately, ever since that movie came out, I've just non-stop Queen, and they're going to be in Australia next February. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I'll definitely be there.
How do you feel about Queen minus Freddie Mercury? I mean, they're still performing. Are they as good?
No. No. See, I wasn't around when Freddie was here, but the video proof of a living legend, it's never going to be the same without him, even if I never have the chance to see him, which is a big letdown, Adam Lambert isn't a bad singer. I do like Adam Lambert. I always have, and I'd be keen to see Brian May and Roger Taylor regardless. So, bring it on.
Michael, who are your musical inspirations?
Well, I have to mention her. She's an Australian legend, Kylie Minogue. She's been a soundtrack of my life. She's helped me through so much.
You've met her?
I have 3 times.
3?
And I've worked with her.
You greedy
in London.
young man. In London?
Yeah.
What's she like?
Okay, she's Australians are down to earth. So when you meet other Australians travelling around the world or doing amazing things, there's this Australian about them. There's this, you know, and she's not one of those divas or anything. She's just so friendly and beautiful, and she loves what her audiences and loves what she does. And it's an Australian thing, I suppose. We all kind of, there's a connection there. I'm sure you've been an adopted Aussie for a while now.
Fair income.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Bonza, mate, she'll be right.
Yeah,
I'm over Lingo already.
Absolutely. So yeah, Kylie Minogue, but you know what? These days, being what I do on 2RRR, I'm very inspired by our local artists.
Good.
They're amazing. You know what I mean? They're absolutely amazing. So, you know, I can start naming Katcha music. I've named up Karina Gray.
Well, we are in their wonderful studios, the Katcha
Absolutely,
studios here.
yeah.
Karina Grace, you mentioned.
Karina Gray, Savannah Bonacci. Camilla Manzone.
Yes, that's easy for you to say.
Cosimo DeVito.
Isn't he good, SBS?
I can look. I won't name drop anymore, but I love everyone, and they inspire me. So to have them on that platform is also very exciting for me.
Can you sing or play an instrument?
No, I've always wanted to play the piano, but the only thing I've ever played was the triangle. What's that?
I used to do that. It's very Salvation Army. Tambourine as well.
Yeah. I've always played the flute, but I can't really.
We've all played one of those.
My fingers.
You don't play it
I
like
can
this.
just blow the.
I'm pretty sure it's on the side.
Oh no, wasn't the old
Recorder.
school one?
Recorder.
Okay,
Yeah, recorder.
sorry.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Get it right, Michael.
Or an Uber.
Yeah.
You had one job. So anybody who wants to start playing an instrument, what would your advice be?
Well, depends. A normal person would probably get lessons, and that's a good way to start. Because I mean, having a talented person show what they have for offer is always the best way to go. But if you're like me and you don't like other people, telling you how to do things, then I'd go to YouTube and look up tabs on Ultimate Guitar. That's a great app, and YouTube for sure, because there's tutorials and they'll tell you how to do it without the stress of costs, and you learn what you want when you want.
Now I must digress. You're both looking very stylish. I love the shirt. I love the jacket.
Thank you. Can I just say kudos to Antoinette Marie for dressing me up.
Stylist.
Yeah, she's actually in this studio, but you can't see her.
You can't see it, so she doesn't really exist.
She doesn't exist. Thank you.
We don't want to break the illusion. But wonderful. Done a brilliant job. But
Absolutely.
I'm particularly taken by your T-shirt. Can you tell us a bit about it?
So probably about a year and a half ago, I saw an ad on Facebook for Defence Sporting Apparel, and there was Anzac shirts that you could buy, and 80 to 100% of the money goes towards veterans. And I thought I need a new shirt, and I'm a big believer in Anzac Day and all the rest. And I thought, why not? So I bought it and showed up about a week later, and I wear it all the time.
Red's my favourite colour.
Yes.
It suits you.
Next time you're coming in red.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I love what you're
I've got a
wearing.
watermelon red coming through.
Well, just let me know.
Austin, have you ever performed live?
I have performed live once.
What's it like?
So I was School of Rock in Bathurst. We went to the Conservatorium of Music, Mitchell Conservatorium, or whatever it's called, and we had 4 days, 6 hours a day, and we just practiced with a group of people that you didn't know. And I was with one of my mates, and we ended up performing live at the Elephant and Castle in Bathurst in front of about 150 people, and I had to rap. It was one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever had to do, but I did it, and yeah, it's a good feeling when you're done because people clap. I like the clapping, but the stuff before that, not so much.
But both of you do so much more than just, in your case, music and radio. I want to ask you, you were recently awarded Young Citizen of the Year. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so I come from a little town about 2.5 hours east of Sydney, west of Sydney, sorry, and Portland, New South Wales, great little town.
That's near Bathurst, isn't it?
About 40 minutes this side of Bathurst, 20 minutes from Lithgow, and I've done a lot of community work for them. Like I've been a youth leader assistant at the local youth centre for about 5 years. Went on trips to Uluru and Blue Mountains, Snowy Mountains, and all the rest. And I worked at a cafe in August last year, and for about a month there was people that came in that couldn't afford food, and me being nice, I paid for food for them, and because you can't let people go without food. And was a lot of controversy after I got the award from the original owners, but we don't. That's going to be said. No negatives here, just positive and
This is a positive show. It's a happy show.
Absolutely.
We want you to have good vibes.
And I did the bass drum for Anzac Day, probably I think 3 or 4 years. I'd lead the march with a local legend, John Kearns.
Fantastic.
Absolutely top bloke. I don't know if I'm sure he wouldn't mind being named, but yeah, I love the town. Great little town. If you get a chance to visit it, massive silos were recently painted for people who used to work at the cement works down there. So yeah, check it out if you can.
That's Portland.
Portland, yes, absolutely.
And how does it feel to win such an award?
It's a small town, probably about 2,500 people, and you know, being there all my life, it's, you know, you see people get the award and they're so happy and everything goes well. And I thought, you know, I've done a fair bit for the community. I thought I'd go for it, and a week later, I got called up, and it's only a small town, but still, it's a big honour to have that achievement. Good for a resume, and you know, I think I'm a better person with it.
Now you're living in Sydney because you're studying sound engineering at TAFE.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I did a 2-week statement of attainment last year at Ultimo TAFE, and I was one of, you know, not many students to pass out of that course, and you know, I had an interest in music before that anyway, and I thought, why not just, you know, go all the way? And so I signed up, and they called me and saying that, yeah, you're good to start on the 18th of February, and yes, I've been staying in Fairfield for the last, 10 weeks to study, and it's been going good at the moment. On school holidays at the moment, but you know, but we'll get back to it and hopefully pass.
Well, best of luck with the course.
Thank you.
Michael.
Really,
You?
can I just say, very
Yeah, go
inspiring
on.
man.
Very
very young,
inspiring.
very young, yeah.
We're honoured to have you on
Yeah,
the show.
absolutely.
Thank
Well
you,
done.
mate. Thank
And
you.
only 17. The mistakes I've made in my life since.
That's it.
You're just older than me by a couple of years. No, you're
Oh,
not.
you two just talk together. Don't mind me. I'll just walk off.
Okay.
But Michael, what a life you've led.
Oh,
What a
thank you.
life. You've written a book. You are an accomplished author.
Oh, thank you so much.
Show us the book.
It's
Just
right
happen
here.
to have a copy.
It's right there. It's oh my God, am I alright? So that's my little memoir.
Go and buy
We've
it.
all. Oh, thank you. And we've all got a story, as they say.
We all have a story,
Yeah.
but your story. And one of the, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying
No,
on
no.
camera, you are a gay man, you identify as a gay man, and that's played a pivotal role in your life and how your life has gone. You were born in a Lebanese Catholic family
Yes.
here in Sydney, in the
Yes.
western suburbs.
Yeah.
You spent part of your early life back in Lebanon as
Yes.
well. You got married at 19. I believe your wife was your first cousin,
Yeah.
she was around 16.
Yeah.
And then you came out, well, you had a child, Buddy, and
Yeah.
you came out. Tell us why for you it was so important to write your life story.
I went through a lot of emotions, the roller coaster of life. I went through not accepting who I was because of my religious upbringing and my culture, and it was the wrong thing to be gay in a culture where religion comes first. You know, I was forced into an arranged marriage. It was kind of, it's an expected thing in Lebanese culture. They marry you to your cousin, so I wasn't like forced into like, oh, you're gonna marry, I'm gonna kill you. It was more like arranged, you know, into this.
Is that common in Christian Lebanese families?
Well, it's common in any Lebanese culture, but you know, because I was in Australia and she was in Lebanon, even though we were cousins, you know, my auntie is my dad's sister, so it was her daughter. So that's okay. So the brothers, it's the no-go zone. So we still had to get blood tested and make sure, you know, all that kind of stuff goes in. And it's in my book. But I was kind of arranged, and I was there for 6 months in Lebanon, and it kind of all happened so quickly, brainwashed. You know, so in the end, it was a decision that I had to make. Yes, okay, but I had no one else to tell me otherwise at 19. And I was fighting the thoughts of men growing up because I'd think of guys. I'm thinking, why am I thinking that? So really knock my thoughts with my hands like this. Like, what am I doing? Why am I thinking these things? So it was very, very hard for me to accept who I was, and I felt I was disgracing the family. you know, and I had to give this life the chance. But then again, I was playing with someone's emotions. So look, I treat her like crap because, you know, I just couldn't, you know, I was born this way. God created me the way I am. I can't change, you know, my sexual orientation because, you know, that's how I am. So she wasn't really doing fine. I could have stayed in this marriage, become regretful, and, you know, and just not being who I am.
Because it's interesting, when I read the book, and I've read the book, one of the saddest stories was that of your wife, who, I think there was a scene where you went to the airport and you said goodbye to her. She was going back to Lebanon with your son, Buddy, and you said, look, I don't love you. I'm a gay man. You need to find somebody. And for me, that was probably the most poignant part of the book. And I really felt for her. I felt for you too, but I really felt for her. But it's all come around sort of full circle. Well, you're living at home, you're back with your family, you're on good terms, you get on with your ex-wife, who I believe is now remarried
with
and has
two
other children
in Australia.
You get on well with your son, Buddy.
Yeah, he's 23 now.
How did all that come about? I mean, that is wonderful to be accepted and embraced.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm kind of blessed in a way where, you know, I have a son, you know, and many people are gay, you know, whatever they are, they can't have those children, and I'm kind of like happy and grateful that I have my son, and that's kind of the most valuable thing out of this whole story as well, and the fact that my family accept me and they love me for who I am now. So, you know, I've become and it wasn't this easy. I went through a suicide moment, and that moment was for me to take me away from this whole thing, and just, you know, and just kill myself, because that way I didn't want my son to know that he had a father that was gay. I didn't want my family to know that I was gay, so I thought it's better that I kill myself to be at peace and not just degrade my family or my son, which I was completely wrong to do. I'm glad I'm here to tell the tale, but it was a message from my son, I love you too, Dad, that saved my life. So that's how this whole book became.
I was just about to ask you to plug it again.
This is Oh My God, Am I Right?
Oh My God, Am I Right? Michael L. Bacha.
I bear my heart and my soul in this just to give back to the community and to help others that are going through the same, and they don't have anybody there to guide them or help them.
Well done.
So I am glad. And can I just give you an exclusive?
Absolutely.
Well, this has a working title, Unspoken, on film. So we're about to take it to the next level. The script is ready to go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's going to be a feature film. And I think Australia and the Arab world are ready for this story.
Any idea of a timeline?
Well, hopefully by the end of the year we'll get some investors in and you know, everyone that's involved, and we start shooting it. We're going to have to go to Lebanon and Australia to shoot the film.
Can I be an extra?
Of course you can.
Can I be an extra?
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh, absolutely.
Got a room full of extras in here. I'm loving it. It's a deal. It's a deal. Austin, you come from Portland, of course, about 40 k's outside Bathurst. How does living in Sydney, as you do now, contrast with living in a small town like Portland?
Oh, you know, it's a lot busier. You know, you get on a train and you have to stand and fight for a seat. And in Portland, you get on the bus in the morning and there's me and the bus driver. And you just have a chat with him and you just have a good trip in, and then get up here. It's just ridiculous. Very busy, but I don't like it quiet. You know, busy atmosphere's always been good for me because I'm a fast-thinking person.
And Sydney's pretty perfect for you.
Yes.
What are the major challenges of living in Sydney?
Transport. You know, there's always transport, but there's always idiots. You know, not nice people on transport. Language is a language barrier. That's another thing. All right? I don't like it when I can't understand them or they can't understand me. Just because, you know, you want to get something, you just don't know what to say, and it's just that's hard. It is difficult for people, but other than that, it's quite comfortable.
What are your hopes for the future?
Hopes for the future. Well, I'm studying studio engineering. I wouldn't mind being a graphic designer for gaming. That's always been something that I think I'd be good at. You know, music, anything, you know. I wouldn't mind making music, producing music, anything like that. Acting, I've always wanted to be an actor, secretly, you know. It's always been one of those things. But
We're all actors.
Not a secret anymore.
Not a secret anymore, it just came out.
It's all out there.
But I'd like to be an actor, you know. I'm a character as myself, you know, and You know, some people like me, some people don't. And I think I have good traits in being an actor. I just need to get over the fact that everything I do is all right, and it's not as bad. You know, life isn't as hard if you live it how you want to live it. And I'm slowly getting there, but you know.
Usually at this point, I ask people what advice they'd give to their younger selves. Well, with you, it seems a bit irrelevant because you're 17.
Well,
so what advice would you give to your peers?
For like to my peers for their younger selves?
No, for now,
For
your
now.
generation. People, you've obviously got a lot of ambition. You've done very well. What advice would you give? What advice would you give to those who perhaps are struggling?
Like, so my age.
Yeah,
people.
your age.
Drugs is a no-go. All right, say no to drugs. You know, there's always a group of people where you live that will try to peer pressure you into things you don't want to do. Try to steer clear. You know, steer clear from that. You can do what you want to do. But as soon as you get involved with the wrong thing, alcohol, smoking, you know, it's a bad look for any job, and you know, to a lot of people. Drugs ruin lives, and if you ruin it young, you're not going to recover from it. It's very rare that you do get out of it, you know. And so I'd say no to drugs and just work hard.
You're an inspiration. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Michael.
Yes, you're going to ask me that question, aren't you?
I mean, no, I am. I mean, you're only 17
Naughty.
too. We're,
Yes.
we're all 17 here.
I'm 3 years older.
You're his younger brother. You'd never guess. So, you were living in the western suburbs and you're back there. How does living in the western suburbs compare to living in central Sydney? Because you did live in places like Marrickville for a while.
Yeah, I did. You know what? I think it's like they say you can't take out the west from the... Well, I was born and raised in the western suburbs, and I'm an eastern suburbs kid as well. I'm a beachy. I kind of like... To come back to the west, it's great to be around my family. My mum's carer now, so I care for my mum, and they've helped me through depression and so forth because, you know, that was the family that I was running away with. But living in the eastern suburbs is kind of that is where I can see myself. When I meet Mr. Right, you know what I mean? I will be going back there. At the moment, I'm happy to be back in the west, where I was born in Parramatta. So it's nice to be around the Parramatta region.
What advice would you have for your younger self? What
I'm-
mistakes have
okay.
you made that you wouldn't repeat?
So many mistakes, but where do I start? We don't have much
Give us
time.
the best two.
Well, I was an escort once,
Yep.
so I won't be going back to that one. However, I don't regret it.
Not a Ford Escort.
No, the Mal escort. I had a gigolo. So
You like a gigolo.
yeah, we are. Yeah, I was
An
a
Australian
gigolo.
gigolo.
Gigolo. Yeah. So that, and then you know, and I think I hit the drugs a little bit too hard back in those days as well, which is we have to say, as you're saying, say no to drugs, and but that was just a part of my life where I had to lose myself to find myself. So yeah, I look. To get back to your question, I'll say to people out there that are struggling with their sexuality, they're struggling to who they are, not bisexuality, or who they are. You know, tolerance for individuality. You know, we need to be a bit more respectful. We're all different, and also trust in your family and friends. They'll still love you no matter what. So you try to open up a little bit. You know what I mean? You'll be surprised.
That kind of touches on my next question, which is what advice do you give for those young Lebanese men living in Western Sydney who may be struggling with their sexuality or coming to terms with it? What do you say to them?
Well, I'll mentor a lot of those behind the scenes. Not that many people. It's an exclusive to the panel show. I do mentor a lot behind the scenes. But I would say to them, you are special, absolutely special, and you are who you are, and and please just try to trust yourself a bit, and all the family. Try to open up a little bit. You know, don't live in this world where you're kind of like, you know, struggling with everything emotionally, and you know, just trust in somebody, family. You'll be surprised.
And before we wrap up, what are your hopes for the future?
Well, I hope to continue on, you know, helping others put a smile to their face and acting as a platform for others to share their passion in whatever they do.
Michael El Bacha,
Yes.
Austin Bradley, thank you so much for coming on the panel shows. Hear the music coming from the Katcha studios here in Sydney. I've been William Brougham. Until next time, bye-bye.
We're at the Katcha studios with Austin, William, Kat, and Chaminda, and we're about to jam.
Let's rip it up!
Yeah!
1, 2, 3, hey!